Hi everyone. Today, I want to start off our ideas with the brand new activities tab and give you a couple activity ideas that you can use. But what I would like to say is if you are brand new to Seesaw, these ideas may be a little advanced for you. They may not be, but you can just go to help and then you can go to ideas for your classroom. There are tons of webinars on here and other ideas that get you started. Okay, so if you're just brand new to Seesaw, this is a great resource full of ideas. Now, what I want to talk about today is different ways that you could think about using the Activities tab. Now, if you're not familiar with the the Activities tab allows you as the teacher to create an activity and give directions to your students and then have them respond to you. So it's a paperless way, basically, to get a response from your students. And after only using it for a week now, I feel like I've gotten some great ideas and ways that work when using this, and they're different from one another. One thing I'd keep in mind, though, is the activities are really teacher-centered. Just keep that in mind, that those are things that you are creating to give to students, and then they are giving back to you. The journal, the nice thing about this, and the reason I still would highly recommend using a lot of things in the journal is that your students are choosing the work that they want to share with parents, and it's a little more can be a little more open-ended. So make sure you're balancing these new activities. You know they are definitely cool, but make sure you're balancing those with the traditional way that Seesaw was always being used, which was student-focused. So the first way I want to talk about using the activities is just the way that the most basic way I think that they were intended, which is just you create a new activity and you are going to be making something for your students. So I create a new one, and let's say it's called like digit sort. Okay, and by the way, this is great for sorting. Um, and then I give my directions to my students. Now, some tricks are that there are little shortcuts you can put in here, and they have those available on their website as well. I know I've seen people share these, but let's say my first direction is that I want the students to tap the, whoops, let's see, tap the label, okay? That way they can start editing my text. I'll show you more in a second. So tap the label, and I'm going to say sort the numbers by how many digits they have, okay? And you can see when I preview this, you see by typing colon, label, colon, you can see that it puts a little cool shortcut in there. Okay. Now I can put voice instructions and just basically read what I want them to do. Now, the next thing I can do here is I could even add an example. I'm not going to do that for this one. I'll show you more of that later. And then I can add a template. Okay, to add a template for a sort, just go to drawing, tap the T, and then I can put like 2-digit. There we go. And 3-digit. There we go. And I can put those up at the top, maybe change their colors. Okay. There we go. And then after that, I can put in my numbers. So like, whoopsie, sorry about that. 12. And I'm going to change these to look different. There we go. And by the way, a great way to do these is to stack them. Here's what I mean. Just go like this. And you can put them right on top of each other, like that. Let me do one more. There we go. And then I go ahead and I turn it in. So now what your students will see, so let me go ahead and I will share this. All right, so here's my students' view. Theirs is green and it will say add, but okay, same idea here. So I tap here, and then they're going to tap on the label, and then they can go ahead and get rid of their keyboard if they're on an iPad, and now they can go ahead and they can move those sorts around. Do you see how nice it is when you just stack those right on top of each other? The kids drag one off, and then they can just put it where it goes. Okay, then they will turn it back into you. Okay, there we go. And we're off and running. Okay? And as the teacher, now I see that that student has completed theirs and these students have not. So very basic way to use activities. Here's some other ways that I found is really useful. This one right down here, this fact triangles. So this was a time I just wanted to collect a quick exit slip. Okay, so literally, as the kids were finishing up their work, I just quickly went in. I typed fat triangle. So I just went in here and just typed, fat triangle. You could put exit slip on it or something like that if you really wanted to. I really didn't put any of the directions because I was giving them verbally. Okay. And then for the template, all I did was do a quick drawing like this. I added some numbers. I added the one that they needed to solve. And I go ahead and I turned it in. And I shared it with all of them. Now, the thing that was nice about this, so my kids all went through and they answered this question. And the cool thing about that grid view is as the teacher, I can see who has responded to my exit slip or my request, so I know who is done, okay? But also, I have a quick view of who solved it correctly. All I have to do is, well, here, let me show you. Let's say a student responded to this, okay? So they go in here, they tap draw, and they write the answer, okay? So let's say that's student 1 again, okay? So I can look quickly and I can see the answer that kids gave, and I know right away if there's anyone who didn't get it right. How great is that? I could actually grab the student before they even left the room, before they went on, and say, oh, let's talk about this really quick. Now, I will tell you personally, I do not save these. I like to share most of the things from Seesaw with parents, but little things like this, I think it clogs their feed. I think it makes parents get a little more apathy with Seesaw, where they're like, oh man, this is not exciting. I don't want to check Seesaw as much as I used to. So these ones I really do delete. But one thing I do sometimes is I will just take a quick screenshot, okay, of my responses, and then I will circle if there's anybody that had a mistake, or I'll somehow denote that there are a couple kids that did not get these right, and I can save it. The nice thing about saving this screenshot also is if I save that, then I can also go back and prove that I did this with my kids, or maybe you want to use it for a conference and say, hey, I did this with your student, I didn't share it with you, but I saved it, okay? That works too. Like, I happen to have the ability to use the private teacher folder because we have Seesaw for Schools. But if you don't have Seesaw for Schools, you cannot actually approve these and keep them private. So screenshotting those is a great way to just save them for yourself and use them as a way to do a formative assessment with your kids. Okay, so that is another way to use this. Now here's the third way, and this is one that I tried one time last week, and it really worked well. So I do a lot of screencasting, and I'll talk about screencasting a little more in another one of these tips later in the week. But I was thinking, how could I attach a video right along with the response that I want from kids? And there is a way to do it. So I'm going to create an activity here, okay? And I'm going to call this contractions, okay? So let's say I wanted to teach contractions to my kids, but this was an independent center. So this is not something where they're with me, they're getting instructions. And so I just want them to know what contractions are and do a quick sort so I can get an idea of who got it and who didn't. So I can type out my instructions like normal. All right, so tap, or the first thing would say, watch the video. Okay, and then maybe number 2 says, tap the label. Okay, and sort the contractions into pairs. And there we go. I can add voice instructions as well. Now here's where this gets really cool. Add example. So I keep all of my videos that I've made in Drive. But no matter where you store videos or wherever you make them, you can go right here. Here's my contraction sort. I tap that, hit get link. Okay, so now I have my link to that. And I can add this as an example. Now you're going to see this all kind of come together here in a minute. So here's my link. There we go. So I've added, and you can see there's my video for the kids to watch. And I turn that in as well. Now I add my template. So let's say, I'm not going to obviously type all these, but let's just say I have can, not, and then can't. Okay? And let's say I put all my words out here that I want them to sort. Okay? Then I go ahead and I Turn that in. And then I'm going to share it with my kids. Now, here's what they see. They go in here, okay? They can see my directions. If I had sound in here, they could hear my directions. And here's my example. They can go ahead and tap on my example, press play, and watch my screencast with them. So now they're watching my screencast of how to do these, okay? And you could do that however you wanted to, okay? And then when they're done, they can go ahead and they can tap on this and get started, right? They follow my directions, and now they can put these into pairs. So how cool is that? Now my students can actually watch the video. They can do the sort all independently and then turn it in for me to check out. So this is a great way while you're doing small group teaching, whether it's during reading or spelling or whatever, you can have kids doing meaningful activities where you're actually teaching to them. Now, like I said before, I will show you how to do some screencasts soon in one of these other tips videos that I'm making, but I wanted to show you a little bit of a different way to use activities. So again, 3 ways I was trying to use activities is the first one, just giving the kids a job, giving them a template, and then off they go. The second was doing a quick exit slip where you take screenshots of the grid to see who got it and who didn't, and maybe you don't even send them out to parents. And then the last way is that I made a sort that had a video attached to it where I'm explaining how to do the directions right here. On top of that, I have the directions here for the sort, and then I probably have voice instructions here as well. So I hope one of those ways, or all three hopefully, are helpful to you. And good luck. We'll see you again tomorrow, and I'll do another tech tip using Seesaw for you.